friends. Welcome to Storytime. I'm Kimberlyn, owner and founder of Life's Work Yoga, an inspired living somatic yoga therapist and coach. As I record this, we're standing at an interesting threshold at Life's Work Yoga and Wellness. If you've been following along, you know that we've been preparing for a new studio space. There are plans and blueprints. There are paint colors and flooring samples. There are spreadsheets and permits and all the practical details that come with creating something new. And yet, as I sit here, we're still in our current space, our home for 6 years. The story isn't really about the building. It's about living in the space between, knowing that change is coming and arriving there. Many of our students are navigating this same kind of territory in their own lives, waiting for a diagnosis, healing from an injury, considering a career change, grieving a loss, beginning a relationship, ending one, or simply sensing that something new is emerging. The most authentic message that I have to share today is that the work has already begun, even if we haven't arrived. The keys are literally here in my hand, and yet we cannot enter. The walls are not painted. The props are not unpacked. The rooms simply are not ready. The kettle is not heating water for our tea. I was promised occupancy by July 1st, but clearly that is not happening. We're simply not there yet. I want so much to be in the new space and doing new space things. Most importantly, sharing that space with you. And strangely enough, this feels like the perfect lesson for this moment, because so much of life happens in this exact place. Not where we were, not where we're going, but somewhere in between, right where we are now. We often think of beginnings happening when we cross a finish line, when papers are signed, when the job starts, when the weight is lost, when the relationship is official, when the move is complete, when the healing is finished. But yoga offers a different perspective. The beginning doesn't happen when circumstances change. The beginning happens the moment that we choose a new relationship with our circumstances. The moment we decide to take one conscious breath. The moment we choose curiosity instead of fear. The moment we remember that we can begin again. Again. And again, and again. One of my favorite things about yoga practice is that every breath is a beginning. We inhale, a beginning. We exhale, a completion. And then what happens? Hopefully, we begin again. The breath doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't say, I'll get around to it. I'll start once everything else is figured out. It simply continues. Moment after moment after moment, cycle after cycle, beginning again. Our lives work much the same way. I think sometimes we imagine transformation as a dramatic event, a grand opening, a ribbon cutting, a breakthrough epiphany. And certainly these moments matter, but most transformation is much quieter. It's happening while we're waiting, while we're preparing, while we're practicing, while we're wondering if we're ready. In yoga philosophy, there is a teaching called abhyasa. It means steady practice, not perfect practice, not dramatic practice, not Instagram practice, steady practice, showing up again and again for what matters. Some days we show up with enthusiasm, some days with uncertainty, some days with confidence, and some days with doubt, but continuing nonetheless. The truth is, this new studio didn't begin when I signed the lease. It didn't begin when I secured the financing or hired the contractor. It began so much earlier. It began even before I knew it had started. It began with a vision, a possibility, a quiet whisper that perhaps there was another way forward. And every step since has simply been a continuation of that beginning. I suspect that many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe there is something in your life that hasn't happened yet. Something you're waiting for, something you're working toward, something you can almost see but can't quite touch. Maybe you're in a season of healing or learning a new skill. Maybe you're rebuilding trust in yourself or your partner. Maybe you're grieving what was while trying to make room for what could be. Or maybe you're standing in your own version of an unfinished studio, a space that exists in your heart before it exists in reality. If so, I want to offer this thought. What if the journey isn't What if the waiting isn't separate from the journey? What if the waiting is the journey? What if this in-between space isn't an obstacle to overcome, a problem to fix, but a teacher to learn from? Because waiting has a way of revealing things. It reveals our attachment to certainty, our discomfort with not knowing. It reveals our desire to control outcomes. And if we're paying attention, it also reveals our resilience, our patience, our creativity, our faith. Waiting asks us to trust what we cannot yet see. Not blindly, and certainly not passively, but actively, to keep showing up, to keep taking the next right step, even when it's backwards, to keep practicing, to keep beginning again. This is something I often see in my yoga therapy practice. The client arrives wanting to feel better now, yesterday, to be stronger now, to be pain-free now, to be healed now. And yet healing rarely moves in a straight line. There are setbacks, plateaus, and unexpected turns, moments when progress is invisible. And still, beneath the surface, change is happening. The nervous system is learning. The body is adapting. Awareness is growing. Something new is being built long before any of us can see the finished result. Just like our studio, just like our practice, just like our lives. As we move into July, that's the invitation I want to offer. Not arrive, not achieve, not even transform. Simply begin again. Begin where you are, with the breath that you have, with the body you have, with the circumstances you have. Begin with the energy you have right now. Because the truth is, there will always be another beginning. A new chapter, a new challenge, a new opportunity, a new season. And the skill that we're cultivating isn't how to arrive, but it's how to begin with openness, with courage, with compassion, with trust. And perhaps that's why I feel so peaceful about not being in the new studio yet. Of course, I'm excited. I'm even anxious. Of course, I'm looking forward to opening the doors. But I've realized something important in this waiting. The practice isn't waiting for the new space. The practice is already happening right now, in the preparation, in the uncertainty, in the anticipation, in the not knowing exactly when or how everything will unfold. Life's work has already begun again, with a rebranded logo and name, with a refreshed website and expanded staff, not because we've arrived somewhere new, but because we've chosen to continue growing. Perhaps that's true for you too. Maybe the thing you've been waiting for isn't permission to start. Maybe you've already started. Maybe you've been beginning again all along. Thank you so much for being part of this journey, this beginning. Whether you're practicing in our current studio, joining us online, or simply carrying these teachings into your daily life, I am so grateful that you're here. And as always, may you meet yourself with curiosity and compassion. May you trust the unfolding. And may you remember that whenever life changes, or even when it doesn't, you can always begin again. Be well and namaste. Oh, this month our Breathe, Move, Rest, Just Breathe and Just Pause practices will explore the wisdom of waiting, the space between what was and what will be, and together we'll practice staying present in the in-between, trusting that growth is happening even when the next chapter hasn't fully arrived. Take care. Take care of you. Take care of each other. This is yoga living.